Hey everybody, it's Kenneth again. Welcome back to the Shoegazer channel where we talk about effect pedals, exciting music gear, home production and more, all around the beautiful noise and otherworldly soundscapes. This video is brought to you by the Shoegazer Squad, a nice shoegaze community of my loyal Patreon supporters. Without you guys uploading these videos regularly would simply not be possible, so thank you and a big shout out to my lovely patrons. This video is a little different from the videos I usually made. It's not about my most favorite pedals of all time or something like that. It's about the pedals that I actually don't use anymore. I got lots of questions in the past on Instagram or on YouTube if I would use a certain pedal still. And I thought this video could be interesting for those of you guys who asked me why I actually got rid of a pedal that so many people say so much good about. If you ever have made the same experience of buying a new pedal and awaiting it until it arrives, you just want to try it out and then you recognize it's just not fitting. For what reason ever. If you know what I'm talking about, let us know in the comments below. Tell us what pedal you sold and what are you using now instead of this one. I'm not an effect pedal collector like Josh Scott of JHS pedals, for example. I admire his collection. It's just amazing to see all these colorful pedals in the background of his videos. I mean, if I would be rich, I would definitely keep more pedals, that's a fact, but I'm not, and I guess most of you guys out there are also not rich. So yeah, we have to sell something if we want to get something new instead. I see myself just as a simple musician who's still trying to figure out his setup. And there are many different things that play a certain role in the setup of any musician. My philosophy is, if it's not used very often, it's probably meant for someone else, because it's meant to be used. So let's start with the first pedal. The first pedal I want to talk about is the Digitech Supernatural Ambient Reverb. A pedal that meanwhile is pretty rare. Just beautiful and black, and it has these beautiful modulation, shimmer, reverb sounds on it. When I bought this pedal, it was about 100 bucks on the internet. Not many people were looking for it. I think its value is rising, and I was looking for a reverb pedal that can create long reverb tails, and during that time in 2012 or 2013 I just couldn't find something like this in a small pedal. I was also not so experienced during that time, I have to admit that, but although this pedal has a high quality and a very unique sound, it was just a little too modulated in my personal opinion. It has a brilliant shimmer reverb sound, but it sounds more like a very big room. I wanted to have a sphere, not a room. It's not creating a sphere. I was looking for a ambient ocean swell, something like that. I heard that shimmer reverbs can do that, but for those who don't know it, a shimmer reverb is a reverb that has an octave up note in the modulated reverb sound. It was just not what I was looking for during that time, and so I got rid of it. The pedal that you see me using most of the time is the Zoom MS-70 CDR, which has many ambient reverbs on it. There are just so many pedals out there that can create this long reverb tail now, and lots of them are extremely expansive. So this is why I chose the Zoom MS-70 CDR. When I stack up different sounds in this pedal, I can definitely reach a very high quality sound. The second pedal is the Digitech TimeBender. Meanwhile, it's a very rare pedal as well, and it became very expensive and valuable on the internet. And it's one of the first pitch shifting delay sounds that I ever knew. I don't know if it's the first one actually. I guess the Boss PS2 and PS3 are one of the first ones. But the special thing about the Digitech TimeBender is that it has lots of different possibilities to set up the pitch shifted note in the delay signal. So you can actually play two melodies at the same time. It's complicated to explain, but it came with two very critical problems. This pedal is definitely a bigger and heavier effect pedal, but the biggest problem that it has is the mix knob that regulates the relation between the dry and the wet signal of the effect. It couldn't get over 50% of the dry signal. The effect was just too subtle, it was too quiet, it was just not possible to create that kind of pitch delay sound that I wanted to create with it. But the idea behind the Digitech TimeBender was amazing, so it's too bad that they didn't do a new version of it. Another huge multi-delay pedal that I used in the beginning of my shoegaze adventures was the Vox DelayLab. The cool thing of the Vox DelayLab is that it has 3 banks, so you can choose from 3 delay presets that you have created during a show. That is very cool. But a big minus was the extra power supply of the pedal. I'm not such a big fan of pedals that need an extra power supply because it makes your pedal board much heavier. And also the pedal itself was pretty big, so in the end I had to look for something else. But I have to highlight that this was one of the best delay multi-effect pedals that I have ever used, just because it's so practical. And there's also an octave delay in this pedal. It actually started my love for pitch delay effects. Here again, I'm still using the MS-70 CDR because you can set up so many different presets that you also can switch during a show. If you buy yourself an external MIDI switch for that, it works the same, it's much smaller, and yeah, it creates lots of different effects as well. Maybe not that good sounding, I have to admit that, but at the moment it works just fine for me. If you know a delay effect pedal that is not too big and has very good delay sounds and is not too expensive, I really would like to hear your recommendations here. The next pedals I want to talk about are actually 2 pedals because they are pretty similar. It's the Digitech Reverbs and the Digitech Polara. Both of these pedals are brilliant, but there's another brother of them and it's the Hardwire RV7. It's also very rare. Meanwhile, gated reverb and a reverse reverb, which are super important in my music. The Digitech Reverbs is just a little too low in volume when it's about the reverse reverb option, so this one here sounds much better in my ears, but the gated reverb is very good on it. The cool thing about the Polara reverb is that it's a little bit smaller and it's definitely the coolest looking of these 3, but it just has no gated reverb. So I'm still going with this pedal here. It's just my shoegazing all-rounder, the secret weapon for all the sounds. The reverse reverb setting on the Polara is just as good as on the Hardwire RV7, so I'm still recommending it to everyone. It's just, as I said, in my case, I need both options, gated and reverse reverb. They just sound best on the RV7. Next pedal is the Alesis Guitar FX. It's a very cheap and trashy pedal.
Hey guys, Editing Kenneth here. I bought the pedal for 40 bucks, I sold it for 30 bucks, and now I find it on eBay for...
But it has a brilliant sounding, a really good sounding reverse reverb. It's sounding exactly like on its bigger and a little older brother, the Alesis MIDIVERB 2. So I just had to try it. It's also very rare. Also the distortion sounds on it sound very good. In a lo-fi way, I have to say that. But it's made out of plastic and it just feels not very safe for a stage. The on and off switches are a little bit sticky and do not work every time you hit them. The handling of the pedal is just a little bit weird and could have been worked out a little better, so it had to go for my own purposes. Speaking of it, the Alesis MIDIVERB 2 is actually no pedal, it's an effect rack. These are the original reverse reverb sounds and ambient sound that you know from the early shoegaze bands. I don't want to miss these, but it's a rack and I don't use racks. I try to use very small equipment, as I told you. A rack is just not fitting into my setup as I'm looking for space-saving gear as lightweight as possible. But I don't want to miss these sounds, so I'm using a convolution reverb version in Ableton Live now, which is a reverb software that simulates the characteristics of real environments or even digital audio gear using impulse responses. You can find the impulse responses of the Alesis MIDIVERB 2 everywhere on the internet. There are several websites, but I will definitely link them in the description below for you guys. So let's talk about the Digitech Whammy GT. I simply love pitch shifting guitar pedal sounds, and the Whammy GT is, in my opinion, still the most stable and best sounding one that I have ever played. It does not disappoint. It's built like a military device when it comes to its metal shell. What I really didn't like about it is its power supply. Digitech simply loves using DC plugs with a diameter of 2.5 millimeters, while usual DC plugs have a diameter of 2.1 millimeters. So unless you buy an adapter, you always have to use a Digitech power supply. What can be really annoying when you have a big pedal board with lots of cables and already not enough space. I really don't like that they often use these DC plugs, but Digitech is still one of my most favorite effect pedal companies as I use so many of their pedals. I'm now going with the Pitchfork by Electro Harmonix as it's much smaller. You can also connect the expression pedal, so you can create this typical whammy banding sound. And if you play one octave down, so you want to create a bass with your guitar, for example, it sounds a little better than the Whammy GT, in my opinion. The next pedal is the Loomer by Keeley Electronics. Yes, I don't have it anymore. It's been a bit stupid to sell it, as I really liked its sounds, but and now I reveal a truth that I never spoke out before. It's creating a very authentic shoegazy sound that can definitely give you the sound aesthetics of My Bloody Valentine, Slowdive and Cocteau Twins in one little box. I really recommend it, but I just didn't want to sound like these bands. And also I already have a reverse reverb and a fuzz pedal that I like. I was really curious, but I actually don't use it. So I thought someone else out there would really love to play this pedal, so I sold it. I could have kept it because I'm a shoegaze lover, as you know, but as I told you, I'm not a collector. I just own gear that I really use regularly, and I'm still in the process of figuring out what setup I really want to use as a solo musician. Next pedal is the Zoom MS50G and the Zoom MS60B. Yes, I also have this one. I talked and also used these pedals a lot since Andy told me about them. To my surprise, the first video that I have made together with Andy about the Zoom MS70 CDR and the Zoom MS50G went straight through the roof. And many of you guys asked me which one to buy. In fact, I have all of them here right now because I'm preparing a video for you guys where I want to show you the coolest presets for those pedals. The Zoom MS50G, the Zoom MS60B and the Zoom MS70 CDR. They have the same size, just different colors. But the base version of the Zoom MS60B has only space for 4 effects in a row, so you can only use 4 effects at the same time. The Zoom MS50G is definitely the most compact and versatile one, which has also guitar amp simulations in it and the most important effects that you would need as a guitar player. But in comparison to the MS70 CDR, it has only a mono input, and the MS70 CDR has stereo input and a stereo output. So since there is this secret Zoom hack that I also made a video about, I link it in the card above or in the description below. You can add every effect on any of these pedals. Let's say I could have all these effects on this pedal, but here I only could use 4 at the same time. So I could also have all the effects of the MS50G on the MS70 CDR as well. And here I could use a stereo input. So my choice was I keep the MS70 CDR. This is the only reason. I really like these pedals for its price. They're sounding extremely good, and but don't get me wrong, there are definitely better sounding pedals out there. So these were 10 pedals that I don't use anymore, and I call myself shoegazer. What a disappointment. No, I call this channel Shoegazer because it's the channel for all the shoegazers out there. I'm just a shoegaze loving musician who tests lots of pedals. But as I said, I'm not a collector like Josh Scott. I really like checking out his videos of JHS pedals, by the way. He also made a brilliant musical that is called Pedals. A historically accurate musical about guitar effect pedals. I would definitely recommend to you guys to check this out. It's hilarious, but also brilliant. So thanks for watching this video. If you are interested what I am creating with effect pedals at all, feel free to check out my music with Unkenny Valleys. The link is in the description below. Tell me what pedals you were excited about but got rid of in the end, and which pedals you bought instead. It would be super interesting for all of us, so feel free to inspire us here, leave us a comment, and love is always welcome here on this channel. So if you're still watching, give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't done it yet. So as always, stay creative, stay healthy, stay safe, and I see you next time. See you later.